Hello again, everyone. It's me, RP Gamers, back for a bonus stream. It's going to be a quick one, but I was uh, I was thinking of a quick flight to do just for myself, and I remembered that I saw Noel Phillips fly into Skardu, Pakistan, a while ago, and it was beautiful. And I wondered if there was an airport close enough to do a quick flight. And I found one, which is in Gilgit, about 60 miles to the northwest of Skardu. And I took off from Gilgit Airport, and it was amazing. The views blew me away. And so I thought that I should do a bonus stream and bring other folks along. Bring other folks along for the ride. So I haven't started the flight yet. I'm just gonna load into the sim now. Flying the Savage Carbon. I thought about taking a different plane, but I decided if I want to go climbing any mountains, it seems like the right plane for that. So that's what we'll be flying tonight. I think I'm going to do live weather. See what it looks like when we get in here. Although, like it always likes to do, the app reverted to the wrong time. So, live weather, real time. There we go. Look at that. This is amazing. Wow. I'm going to get right out of the cockpit here, even for takeoff. And I'll wait a couple minutes in case anybody comes along and wants to join. Besides, I have a beer to pour here. I've got a beer to pour here. The Epic Brewing Imperial Pumpkin Porter. It'll be music to my ears when I crack this can. I hope it was music to your ears too. I doubt you could hear that pour. Pretty tasty, maybe a little overspiced. I used to love pumpkin beers, and then everybody started pumping them full of so many spices that I kind of lost my taste for it. But I think that the spicing levels suit the Imperials a little better than the standard strength beers. Anyway, it's not as desserty as I thought it might be. It's not really sweet. I taste the pumpkin spices. I wonder if there's actually pumpkin in it. I don't want to examine the can right now and find out. But I think that it's become more and more common for so-called pumpkin beers to not have any pumpkin at all, or even any kind of squash. Sometimes they have other squashes because pumpkin isn't a very squashy tasting squash, really. Alright. I am going to take off and just fly around the area of the airport for a little bit. Check it out a little bit. If anybody comes along and wants to join, got about 5 minutes, probably. Yeah, it's let's see, 11:41 my time, so at 11:46 we'll start to head towards Skardu, and it'll be, I think, probably an hour and 15-minute trip or so. I'll just fly in the opposite direction while I wait to see if anybody else wants to come and fly. Oh, hey there, Andrew. Yeah, I love this plane. You know, I don't know how realistic the flight model is. It is ready to jump off the ground at like, I don't know, 15 knots or something like that. You go a few feet down the runway and boom, it just wants to fly. It's so lightweight. I think my favorite thing about it is it's lightweight but has a lot of power. So compared to the standard Cub, which is a variation of, well, sort of a variation of it. It's a lot lighter, but it has like the same amount of power from my understanding, so you can climb really fast. But yeah, it's yeah, it does kind of look like an ultralight, doesn't it? Yeah, it is tiny. Here's the interior, single person cabin. Oh, I guess there is a seat back there. You know, I had looked in the past, and for some reason I thought there wasn't room for another person back there, but I guess there is. But here you go. This is it. Just a stick between your knees, and you're flying. But especially for a trip like this, I want the external view. How's your day going, Andrew? Do you want to jump in on the flight? Maybe if you took the engine out, you could pick it up and throw it. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I had a standard weekend for once. It's really rare that I have Saturday and Sunday off. And, oh, you don't? All right. Well, you're welcome to just hang out and chat and enjoy the scenery, too. Yeah, I had Saturday, Sunday off, which is rare. I just started streaming yesterday. I'm doing a longer trip, the Inside Passage from Bellingham, Washington up to Skagway, Alaska. And I went a couple 100 miles yesterday and a couple 100 miles today. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah. And I think I'm probably about a third of the way through that trip. I'm not doing as much flight seeing and like as many bush landings as I thought I might do. But having said that, I'm not as well acquainted with the British Columbia portion of that journey as I am the Alaska portion. So I guess I'm probably less than a quarter of the way through, because my flight plan starts to zigzag around once I get to Southeast Alaska. So I'll be continuing that on Wednesday, and then I don't know if you were here yet when I was saying it, but I wanted to do a flight just by myself tonight, and I follow Noel Phillips, who's a YouTuber who does all kinds of he flies with like all kinds of different routes with different airlines and does reviews. Crap, bridge got me. He does reviews of his flights and stuff like that, and he's just an aviation geek. It happens sometimes when there we go. I just forgot to come out of slew mode, so that was my fault. Anyway, Noel Phillips does all kinds of reviews and stuff, and he did a flight from I don't remember where he originated, but he did a flight into Skardu on something old. I don't remember if it was like a 737-400 or something like that. And it was such a beautiful flight. Oh, thanks for that. Oh no, I don't think I know that that channel. I'll follow it. I'll check it out and follow it after this stream. Yeah, so I decided I wanted to fly to Skardu, and I just looked for another, like the closest other airport I could find, and this was it. And I flew for about 5 minutes, and it was so beautiful I decided I wanted to stream it. Oh, he's got a private pilot's license? Cool. Yeah, so does Noel Phillips. He just doesn't fly, he's not a simmer. He's just like an av geek who's got a YouTube channel. One of the other YouTubers I follow is V1 Simulations, who is a real-life A320neo pilot. So he's really interesting. He does a lot of themed flights too. Right now he's his streams are flying around Australia and New Zealand. But he flies all kinds of aircraft in the sim. He's really interesting, super knowledgeable. There are a bunch of other pilots in his chat too sometimes, so it's really cool to. So now he does VATSIM. Yeah, I think that V1 does VATSIM sometimes. There's a few other folks I follow who do VATSIM. I'll probably start doing VATSIM at some point. Right now I kind of enjoy just doing my own thing, planning my own thing, and I like to fly with other people, but I also prefer smaller planes like this. I have some airliners in my repertoire. I have the EMDG 737-600. That's my current project that I'm going to be working on learning this week. But I'm not really interested in like long haul flights. I like to do maybe hour and a half, or yeah, you know, just wait till you see me do an actual landing, because they almost always look like they're gonna come off all right, and then at the last second I go nose over, because all the weight of this plane is at the front. So if you're not careful with braking especially, you crash just when you think you've done everything just fine. Oh, well, I crash on takeoff sometimes too. Again, especially in this plane, it's so light that if you don't pull back on the stick as you are trying to take off, it just goes all over the place. The tail starts to, you just start drifting all over the place and lose control of it real fast. And sometimes it like just starts to spin around while you're on the ground. And all you can do then is pull the engine back to idle and let it do its thing until it stops. So I'm no expert myself. I'm getting better, but slowly. I'm not that serious about this. I mostly do it because it's fun and I like the scenery that the sim has. So, you know, some places I fly in for nostalgic reasons. Southeast Alaska is one of them. And some places I fly in because I saw them on somebody else's stream or in a movie or whatever. It'd be kind of funny if they put a plane on a cable in this sim. So you fly a different sim, I take it? Oh, okay. I assumed you flew a different sim since you said that you crash on takeoff. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I just I got Microsoft Flight Simulator through Xbox Game Pass for PC. I haven't actually bought it. When Flight Simulator 2024 comes out, I might buy that. After it's been out for a little bit, I probably don't want to buy it when it's brand new. But I don't know, we'll see. Oh, that was a while ago. You know, that was back in the day when I would have loved to have flight simulators, but did I even... Yeah, I did have a computer back then. I probably wasn't capable of running the flight simulators even back then. Until this flight simulator, the only one I'd ever had was when I was a kid. I had this crappy old Radio Shack computer, and there was a flight simulator for it, and I loved playing that flight simulator, even though it sucked. Yeah, it was a trash 80, alright. We've come a long way since then. Especially in the flight simulators, my god. I bought that computer with my paper route money. First I bought an Atari 2600 with my paper route money, and then I saved up for that trash 80. Those miserable weeks of trying to collect payment from deadbeats who didn't want to pay their $5 a week for their newspaper, $5 a month for their newspaper service. And then threatened me, a 10-year-old kid, when I stopped service because they weren't paying for it. Oh no, of course they couldn't. Oh, there it is. Did the road finally level out a little bit? I don't know if you noticed, but the road was like sideways on the side of the mountain. Yeah. Yeah, after that TRS-80, I didn't have a computer again until I was like 26 or 27. Something like that. And then it was just a cheap one I bought from a friend. And until this computer, which is just like you know, sort of a mid-range gaming laptop, I've only owned like really shitty computers. Oh, are you really? There was a point in my life where I thought I was going to be. The first time I tried to go to college, I was intending to be a computer science major. Back then, I was working on C and Pascal programming, which I actually learned to program in C and Pascal in high school. That was in the early 90s, and I was one of the original internet addicts, as I like to say, when I discovered that I could just go to the computer lab at school and spend my entire day on the internet chatting with people on MUDs. And was going through a hard time. My parents were divorcing and stuff, and I just kind of stopped going to class. And as a result, I didn't even graduate high school. Shoot, I wish I'd seen that bridge sooner. No. Didn't even graduate high school because that was my senior year of high school. I did I don't remember what it was called. This was in Minnesota, and I don't remember what the program it was called, where you get college credit and high school credit at the same time while you take college classes. And yeah. I finally, years later, got my GED, and then went back to school a couple times, and it just never stuck. The normal four-year programs definitely weren't for me. IRC, I haven't heard anybody mention IRC in years. You know, it's funny, I've never been a good student either. I'm one of those people who learns things relatively easily, but hates doing the work. And I'm just lazy, so all through high school I was like a B plus A minus student without making any effort whatsoever, and I figured that was good enough. Why should I try any harder, you know? Had no self-discipline. I don't really have great self-discipline now either, but I'm better than I was. Oh, look at this scenery. Yeah, exactly. Just didn't do the work. I tested really well. I took notes in lectures, and I think that's really why I learned the way that I did. And I've always had really good reading comprehension, too. So it was really easy to get by. Any class where, like, the final exam was only a small part of the grade, I was kind of screwed in, or if the tests in general were a small part of the grade. Yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, in my high school algebra classes, I was constantly losing points because I didn't show my work because I could do so much of it in my head. In those classes, it was the tests that saved me, although a portion of the score came from showing your work. But in my homework, I never showed my work, and so I would lose like a quarter of the points. Yeah, I discovered all the different variants of muds, and put my ability to program to good use writing in the scripted languages that they used, and wrote stupid scripts that did dumb things like when you walk through a doorway, teleport you to a different room and stuff like that. Great application of the brain. These mountains are amazing. I can't remember what the name of this mountain range is, but I guess it has a lot of like 8,000 meter peaks, which is like 26,000 feet. K2 is in this mountain range. I looked it up just so I'd be able to talk about it on this mini stream, and then I closed the browser window that it was in. I don't remember the name anymore. It starts with a K. Probably go a little faster. So Andrew, what time of day do you have? It's just hitting midnight for me. Peek at my VFR map. Yeah, okay, this way will get us there. Yeah, and funny thing, teachers don't really like to be corrected that much, do they? Oh no. Yeah, seriously. It looks like we can just follow this river valley all the way there, so that's a little more straightforward than I thought. We could have hopped up over the mountains, although this plane would have struggled with that. It's supposed to top out at like 14,000 feet. I've had it to like 21,000, and it definitely suffers some performance issues. Oh, I asked what time of day it is in your part of the world. It just turned midnight here. California? Yeah, I'm in Washington, northwest Washington. Just a little north of Seattle. I lived in Seattle for about 15 years and recently decided to make a little move. And then after 5 weeks of measly part-time work instead of the position I was offered, my new job laid me off. I should have started streaming then, instead of being super stressed about finding a different job. Oh, Olympia, cool. Yeah, I like Olympia. I haven't gotten to spend much time there, but I have some friends who are from there, and one of my coworkers right now, her parents live down there. I don't know if I'd want to live there, but I like to visit once in a while. Ah, so you probably don't remember it that well. Funny, I turned all these tags and navigation aids off, but they're still showing. I wonder if my settings got reset or something. Every once in a while, the sim does that. I'm gonna get lower. I really like flying low and close. Although getting up here and getting a closer look at the mountains is cool too. It seems to me, so this sim definitely has some issues, especially with roads and streams. Like, you see a lot of streams, if they're cut into a hillside, instead of being properly cut in, they're like flowing up the side of the hill at an angle and stuff like that. And the roads do that too sometimes. You can see the road down here is doing that. But wow, the mountains look really good a lot of the time. I flew around some mountain peaks in Alaska that I recognized the shape of pretty well from the ground, and I've seen pictures of them from like planes and stuff too, and the sim represents them pretty well. It's not perfect, but better than I expected for sure. Yes, the Korakoram Mountains, thank you. Yeah, but look at that road. Like, I like to land on roads every once in a while. I think it's fun. There's no way I could look at that. It's basically sideways. And that's a fairly common occurrence in this sim. Imagine trying to drive on that. Especially when it's icy. You'd never get anywhere. What do you think? Is this river actually frozen? Is it solid enough for me to land on? I might try a soft touchdown here and see what happens. No, I've never tried X-Plane. This is the only sim I've played in, you know, since that one on the TRS-80 I told you about. Look at the rendering here is a little problematic, huh? Whoa, what is going on? like a dolly painting or something, and I can't fly there. I'm guessing that the angles block the satellite imaging there or something. That's my guess. Alright, just have to turn around and fly a little higher and hope I can actually get through. Yeah, it looks like it'll be fine from up here. That's trippy. Yeah, and now it's got this weird burn over the river walls, like right over the top of the river. It's like the topography somehow got reversed. Pakistan, they put lids over their rivers, apparently. Yeah, it was really weird. That's the first time I've seen that in the sim. That looked like there were like there was a car riding on another car's back, like they were mating or something too. That's one thing I hope that they fix in 2024 sim is the automobile traffic AI. It makes no sense at all. And there are some places where the roads seem to be drawn in slightly askew from their GPS coordinates and their actual paths. Like they probably are here too, but in the places I'm thinking of, the cars drive like next to the road, like 20 feet next to it, but parallel to it. Like I did a little flight, a helicopter flight, a few weeks ago in what's it called, Malibu Creek State Park, which is where a lot of the show MASH was filmed. I just flew into the park, like flew up a canyon from oh man, what is the name of the town? I think it's from Santa Barbara, maybe. And I flew to the spot where the filming took place, and it was really cool. I found it, even though the is it Santa Monica? Maybe it's Santa Monica. I found the filming location, even though the structures aren't drawn in correctly. One thing that the sim does when it, I think when the satellite imagery doesn't, when something isn't tall enough maybe for the satellite imagery to determine how tall it should be in the sim, is it draws it in flat. So there, at the time, I don't know if this is still there because there have been some wildfires that have gone through there, but at the time that the images were made, one of the ambulances from the show was parked there, and so it has a white top with a red cross on it, and you can just barely find it. Yeah, that's what I thought. You can just barely find it. There's just like, I landed and I went, what is that red mark over there? I knew I was in the right spot. I just figured for some reason the images hadn't made it in. Look at this, look at what's happening down here. It's the same thing we saw a little bit ago. Weird. I just thought that for some reason the images weren't drawn in. until I saw this red mark, and I landed next to it and looked at it more closely and realized that it was a really badly mangled red cross, and I had basically landed on top of the ambulance without realizing it. And then that made it easier for me to find. There was a tent set up there at the time too. It made it really easy to find where the tent was, and another like old ambulance too, and a couple other random things. It's too bad that the images weren't, good enough for the sim to render the structures, but on the other hand, I was still able to find it, and that was kind of cool. I recognized, as soon as I got there, I recognized the shapes of the mountains and stuff. I've watched that show all the way through 5 or 6 times, probably. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. But earlier in, it does the same kind of thing with stuff on the water, like docks and boats. If you're flying along a shoreline, you can see docks from a distance, and from a distance they look fine, but as soon as you get close enough where you should be able to see some detail, the docks go under the water. And same thing with boats, small boats especially. If you have a bigger boat like a cruise ship or a cargo ship, they usually look fine, but smaller boats like a speedboat or a rowboat, they just end up submerged in the sim. So it's another thing I hope they fix. Partly because I want to be able to land on those docks. That's how I discovered that they're underwater a lot of the time, because I wanted to land on them. Oh, last time I looked, MASH was still streaming on Hulu. I'm not sure where else you might find it. It's been about 6 months, though, probably. And, those things are changing all the time these days, so who knows if it's still there. Oh, yeah. That last episode, I think that is still I think it still holds the record for the most watched episode of a scripted TV show. I don't remember how many viewers it had, but it was huge. It was like, I think that maybe there have been some modern Super Bowls that have beaten it, but no scripted shows. I think the only show that would maybe have a chance of beating it might be The Simpsons, if the but I don't know. I mean, The Simpsons are still on, right? I haven't heard of The Simpsons ending. But even then, The Simpsons have been around for so long. There might be people like me who are just kind of over it, and that might affect the viewership of the finale. Are we still on track here? Yeah, we're still on track to get into Skardu. Just keep following this valley. Holy crap, 35 seasons, and MASH had 11. 11 seasons for 3 years of a war. One of the funny things about MASH is none of it really makes sense if you compare it to the actual timeline of the war. 35 seasons. Has there been any show on the air that long? Like, how long did Johnny Carson do The Tonight Show? That's the only thing that comes to mind that was on for a really long time. Yeah, no scripted TV for sure. But I mean, I think even if you say all TV, you're going to be hard pressed to find something else to challenge that, unless there's something I'm not thinking of. We're going to trim up a little bit here, make the flying a little easier. Before I did this, I had already done a 4-hour stream, so I don't really see a reason to wear my wrist out using the stick here. There been any fires in your area this year? Right after I moved up here, we had a wildfire about 9 miles from downtown. Good one. Yeah, we had a fire around a lake about 9 miles from downtown after I moved up here, and fortunately my mom didn't manage to see that on the news. She lives back in Minnesota, and usually anything she sees on the news, if it takes place in Washington, she's calling me or texting me asking if I'm okay. And I never know what happened that caused her to text me or call me. The worst, though, was 2020 when the George Floyd protests were all over the place, and on Capitol Hill in Seattle, the protests were like non-stop, and that's when Fox News substituted actual like war zone footage and claimed that it was on Capitol Hill in Seattle, and my mom saw that. And okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, when my mom saw that and texted me, "Are you okay? I just saw the news," and I was like, "Was there an earthquake I didn't hear about?" You know, I have a coworker who I just realized this week is like the nosy neighbor from every TV show, from every sitcom ever. And for the longest time, I thought that he was just a know-it-all who never shut up, just talked all the time. He's a nice guy. I like him. But sometimes I just want him to shut up. And I realized the other day he's always going to I work at a grocery store. I realized the other day he's always going to everybody in all the different departments and like getting all the gossip from everybody, and he always knows everything that's happening in the store. And I was like, oh yeah, he's just the nosy neighbor. Yeah, I want to get him to go out for a beer with me and see what he's like outside of work. See if I enjoy him more if we're not at work. I mean, I've had good conversations with him, but he is also, it turns out, one of those people who has to be right about things. We were having a conversation about of all things beer the other day, and we had a disagreement about something, and it was, you know, it's beer. It's okay to disagree about something, right? And after we discussed it for a little bit, I said, well, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree. And I said, I got to get back to work. And I turned around to go, and he just kept, like, arguing his point. I was like, it's okay, man. You can have your opinion, and I can have mine. You don't have to admit that I'm right, and I don't have to admit that you're right, you know? Yeah. I think that was the first thing he's done that truly bothered me. So, I do, on some days, I just avoid getting into an actual conversation with him because he is such a busybody. Man, look at these mountains. Yeah, it is. Look at all the rocks down there. Are those rocks? Let's take a closer look. I don't have to be at 8,500 feet. Although I don't know. I guess if hopefully it looks like this river goes right into a long mountain valley lake at Skardu. And so hopefully, yeah, so it should remain a pretty gentle slope until we get there. No, they're not rocks. They're brush or trees. Huh. buildings over here. What a place to live. It's probably cold as hell. Yeah, early morning, huh? Sorry to hear that. Well, thanks for stopping in. It was nice chatting with you, and you know, normally I'll be streaming earlier than this, so 5 a.m. I am not kidding when I say getting up at 5 a.m. makes me physically ill. So good luck with that. And I'll see you next time. I think the next time I stream is going to be Wednesday. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I think, are my streams this week. So have a good night, and good luck in the morning. Yeah, me too. I mean, to be honest, that's my preferred schedule. I like to sleep from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There just aren't enough jobs available that I want to do that allow for that. So I have to adjust and actually be a part of society. Hopefully it proves to be worthwhile. I'm not a professional streamer. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I don't know. Alright, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Ah, thanks. I appreciate that. Good night. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I was having some audio problems on my earlier stream, and some simple troubleshooting regarding mic position sorted that out. Thanks. Yeah, great. Thanks. Appreciate the feedback. Am I? I didn't know if anybody would be interested in seeing that. I really considered all that HUD information on the screen to be for myself, but I'll think about that. I'll try that and see how it looks. I suppose that's true. Most of the ones that I watch don't have it displayed on their screen, unless they have an overlay that has like something across the top. I guess you're not wrong. People will want to be able to like mock me when they see that I'm redlining for 10 minutes straight. There we go, I'll give it a whirl. I'll admit it looks kind of strange to me up there, but worth checking out. You know, the funny thing about that quote is I always tell people I don't care how they spell my name as long as they say it right. Like when I go to a coffee shop and they want my name to write it on a cup and they ask how to spell it, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. As long as you know the name to call out, who cares how you spell it? On the other hand, anytime I have to sign for a delivery for anything and they want to know my name, I tell them it's John Smith, which, spoiler alert, is not my real name. Because as John Smith, I don't have to, I don't ever have to spell it. And they don't care if you give them a real name. They just have to have a name to put on their stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. I probably could. You know, I don't want to block scenery, though. I mean, there's not a ton of scenery up there. The funny thing is, I have my chat window in that exact spot on my screen, so I don't get to see that scenery either. So maybe it doesn't really matter, but... There, that's a little bigger. Nice. How often do they get it, or at least show that they get it? Ah, thanks. Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. I want to do this. Alright, go to bed. Like you said 5 minutes ago. That's a road. I thought it was going to be the river. The river's over here. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Sleep well. I hope you wake up refreshed even though it's a short sleep. Good luck. But we're still here, just enjoying the scenery. We're sure enjoying it myself. And if there's still a little time left in this flight, if anybody wants to jump in, although I'll be honest, there could be somebody here and I just don't see you. And flight I did earlier today, I had folks flying with me, and for most of the time they were just invisible to me, although they could see me. I've got all my settings set up for multiplayer, but the sim has been having some problems with it, so people disappearing and such. For a time I had two people from the chat flying with me. And then I guess two more people, and they were flying Cessnas. They were flying like they're not so. Well, I was flying a Cub. I don't remember. They might have both been flying Cubs. And then They told me that there were 2 F-18s there as well. I don't know if the guys flying the F-18s were in the chat or not, but I didn't see. It took probably an hour before I saw one of those F-18s, and by that time, one of the original guys had left. Let's see. I spy a bridge. Skardu. This has really been some great scenery. Huh. Well, look at the cars driving on the snow next to the bridge. There. That was too tough. Since I'm flying a bush plane, I should do at least one landing out here before I call it a night. I'm going to fly up a little ways and see if I can find a plateau or a perch to land on. Day when I decided to go flying around Denali National Park, Alaska. I was flying this plane, and I got extremely lucky and managed to land it right at the top of Denali, aka Mount McKinley. I was shocked. Just pure luck that I managed to come in at the exact right angle and speed to just stop pretty much when I touched down. And I doubt that I will ever be able to replicate that that exact landing, but won't stop me from trying. Of course, once I landed, I had to brainstorm how I was going to take off from that point, and I realized I was so high up I could just drive the plane off the mountain, and it worked. I picked up enough airspeed after I, dropped off the peak that I was able to start flying again. And this is for anybody wondering. I have the graphics just on medium. I've been flying this. I've been flying in Flight Simulator for about 2 years with this computer, and with my graphics always on. Well, in my old house, I flew with my graphics on high because the internet there wasn't fast enough to support ultra. But since I moved a few months ago, I have the fastest internet I've ever had, and ultra has always been fine until I started to stream. Just I think it's just the added workload of streaming that has caused my computer to have some problems with ultra graphics. I started to get some stuttering that I had never seen before, so I switched to medium, and it's really impressive how good things still look in medium. I thought I was going to be really sacrificing graphics quality by switching to medium, and there's a difference. I think the depth of the textures isn't as great, but overall, I'd say it's still very good. For anybody who wasn't here when I was talking about how I decided to do this stream, I'll just mention it again. I already streamed for about 4 hours earlier today on what is, for the time being, going to be my regular series of streams, which is flying up the Inside Passage from Bellingham, Washington to Skagway, Alaska. And I finished that stream about 5 hours ago, 5.5 hours ago, and took a break, got some housework done, ate some dinner, and then I was watching one of my favorite non-flight streamers, and I kind of got the itch to fly. So I thought about where I wanted to go, and I remembered having seen Noel Phillips, who is like an aviation geek YouTuber who does a lot of different flights with different airlines, like different routes and stuff, and reviews them in different classes. He flies first class, business class, economy, whatever. Tries to find unique flights on rare planes and things like that. And I remembered that I saw him fly into Skardu on, I don't know, it might have been an A310, or it might have been an old, like, 737 Classic. I don't remember for sure. And just how stunning the area is. And in fact, when they leave, in order to gain the altitude to get out, they have to make several circles. And just these stunning views. And I've never been here in the sim, so I decided to come here. And then I didn't want to do a long flight, so I looked for the closest other airport I could find, and that was what was it called? Gilgit. And it was just 60 miles away, and I thought, well, an hour and a half stream sounds about right. So I've already been on for a while today. Gilgit. And so here we are. So we'll look at my VFR map, which I popped out so I could put it on a different monitor, which means, there we go. I think we're gonna go in on, we'll go in on 3-3 left. Yeah, since when you pop one of your windows out like that and put it on another monitor, anytime you mouse over that window, you can't control the plane until you move your cursor off that window. You don't even have to move back to the sim, just off that window. I crashed once because of that, and I learned my lesson. Because I could not figure out why I didn't have control of the plane. Flexing. So, 7,300 feet. I guess it's time for me to lose some altitude. I'm gonna land. kind of don't want to land. I could just fly around here for a long time. I wonder how long it would take for me to get sick of just seeing these same mountains. Figure out what other cool flights I want to do that are just like short flights like this. I like to fly around Papua New Guinea a lot. There's a lot of really cool mountain airstrips in there just that are challenging and fun. I mostly don't land well on them, but that's okay. I'm getting better. I rarely land this plane on runways. Almost always in the bush, which means I don't usually take much runway to land it, unless I end up floating, which does happen sometimes. The plane's so light it's really easy to just float until you... Why is that there? I have that turned off. Yeah, this plane will float forever if you're not careful. You'll just float until you lose all your airspeed and then you crash. Okay. Made it over the threshold. Here we go, the obligatory big wheel bounce. Yeah, and the other thing this plane likes to do. Alright, I'm on the ground. I made it safely, if not elegantly. I doubt that would have worked out that well for me in real life. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks for coming and lurking in the stream while I fly. And, nice to meet you, Andrew. I assume you've gone to bed a while ago now. I will be back again on Wednesday. Oh, I should see if there's anybody on I want to raid. I think all the flight simmers I follow have left. But, I'll check. I think I'm gonna raid Captain Nabib. I'll be back on Wednesday. I've got the schedule here on my in my Twitch info. I drop a Discord link. I'll do that before I end the stream here. Feel free to join the Discord. I'll be putting flight. This is only my second day of streaming, so any feedback is appreciated. I'll be putting flight plans and other things in my Discord, so feel free to pop into the Discord and introduce yourself. Come on in, say hi. If you have ideas for trips, whether they would be like longer multi-stream trips or something like this that's just an hour, 15 minutes or whatever, suggest those in the stream. I do have some other themed trip ideas I'm working on, and I'll be posting some more information about those in the Discord. So anyway, here's my Discord info. Drop by if you want to, and we're just gonna take whoever's here over to Captain Nabib. Been capped. All right, go. All right, thanks a lot for being here, everybody. Have a good night.
Now I've got to kind of get with the rhythm, update my overlay to make it tower position. 2 seconds, guys. We're in Melbourne, tower, TW. Here we go. Let the roller coaster ride start. I've got to re-accustom myself to